everyone, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial we'll discuss about how to create pivot table and how to use it, because pivot table is a powerful data summarization tool used in data analysis. It allows you to recognize and summarize tabular data in a flexible manner, providing a compact representation of complex data relationships. So pivot tables enable you to aggregate and visualize data based on one or more key variables, making it easier to identify patterns or trends within your data. So let's get started. So here I have created these two data sets. So in first data set I have columns, date, category and value, and in another data set I have this kind of columns: column A, column B, column C, and order ID, product and customer. So let's create pivot table and see how to summarize our data using this pivot table. So here I will start with pivot table equals to, so df is our data set and I'll put df dot pivot table. So this code will going to create a pivot table for this data frame, which is df, and inside this we can specify few things. So first is value. So value, for now I'll keep it blank, we'll come back to this later. And now index. So index will be rows in pivot table. So what rows I want? So for example, in this data set I want date to be my rows, so I can put name of that column, so that is date, so index will be date. And then I want columns. So what are the columns that I want? In my pivot tables I can specify using columns attribute, and that can be, so I can say, for example, here I want category to be my column, so I can put category as columns. Now I need value. So after making, so now here I have made rows and columns also. Now I want to fill some values in uh, in this table that I have created, in which rows are date and category are column. So it will first look how many unique categories it has. It has two unique categories, A and B. So there will be two columns, one corresponds to A and another corresponds to B. And for each row, since this is the date will be row, so all unique entries of date will become row. And then what values I want to put, so that value I can say, for example, here value column I want, so the values that are in this column named value, they will be treated as values. So we'll see how pivot table will look like after doing that, and let's run it and then print the pivot table also. So now the pivot table is looking like this. So if you notice here, date, so there are two unique dates only, right? So these two unique dates came here as rows, and then since there were two unique columns in category column, and we put columns equals to category, so there were two, we got two columns in our pivot table, A and B. And now if you notice of these values 10, 20, 30, 40, how they are coming. So in our original data set df, for the date 2022-11, column A has value 10. So for the date 2022-11, category, when the category is A, the value was 10, so this 10 is coming here. And when for 2022-01, and for category B the value was 20, so that value is coming here, because values we put values equals to value column, so the entries that are inside value column will come here as values, and this index which we put a date, that will become rows in our pivot table, and the category which we put as columns, so this unique values will come as columns. So this is how our pivot table works. So one more thing we can specify, so let's Let's do that with the help of this data. This is slightly bigger data than the previous one. So in this we will use aggregate function also, which is there inside a pivot table. So I will just copy this here, or let's use it for this data set only, then we will work with another data set. So here I can specify one more attribute, which is aggregate function. So this aggregate function can take several parameters. So one is sum. So this sum, so by default it is mean. So if we do not specify anything, it will take mean. But if we can change it by specifying our the way we want, we can specify the function aggregate function. So if I put aggregate is equal to sum here, it is again coming 10, 20, 30, 40, because there were no more than one value for this combination of date and category. So let's use it for this bigger data set. Okay, so here in this, so here this is our data set, which has column A, B, C, D, E, and then order ID, product, and customer. So I'll create so I'll run this also, and let's call it df2. Alright, so now I want to create pivot table for df2. I'll call it pivot table 2 df2 dot pivot table, and in this I want values to be specified with some column. So let's put column A, and index to be, let's say, order. So this order ID will be our rows in a pivot table, and columns will be let's take product. So the unique products will come as columns, and unique order ID will come as rows. And then aggregate function, and this aggregate function, let's put max, and we will see how what the output will be. Okay, so now here if you see product 1, product 2, product 3, because there are three unique products, product 1, product 2, and product 3, and there are three unique categories in order ID A, B, C. So these are coming here, and if you notice, this is coming as 44 for so this entry is 44, this entry referring, so wherever the order ID is A, and wherever product column has entry product 1, so it will take all of those entries where order ID is A and product is product 1, and then whatever value we will get for it, or you can say whatever rows we are getting for this where order ID is A and product is product 1, I want maximum value. So this is the maximum of those rows, the maximum value out of those rows in which order ID is A and product is product 1, because we have specified aggregate as max. So if we notice here, let's say variable is order A, so this is order ID A, and there are two entries where order ID is A, and these in these two entry product is product 1 only. So out of these two entries, I'll check, since the values is column A, so these values, whatever value I will get here, whatever value I'm getting here, these are values of column A. So in this where order ID is A and product is product 1, I am getting two values, which is 44 and 8. Since I have specified aggregate function to be max, it will take max of these two, which is 44, and this is the value that is here. Now if you notice, there is some none value also present in this pivot table output. So these none values coming because there is no combination such that, or you can say in my original data set there is no row such that the order ID is A and product is product 2. So if you notice here, we have only two rows, which is this row and this row, in which order ID is A, and product, the value of product is product 1. There is no there is no value in product column which is product 2 and order ID A, right? So that's why it is giving you none. So this is the new data set that it has created using these features, where values is equal to column A, index is order ID, columns are a unique products, and this is the aggregate function. So these none values, if you want to replace these none values with something like 0, then you can specify using feature which called fill value. So here if you see, this is the fill value. So we can specify by saying fill value equals to 0. So now if I run this, so it will replace all the none values with 0. So this is the use of pivot table. We can use many different functions. Instead of max, we can use minimum also, we can use mean also. So various functions we can use here. So now let's create one more pivot table in which we will use multi-level indexing. So here we have index order ID, right, which has unique entries which that are present in order ID column in our original data set. So let's create multi-level indexing pivot table. So here I'll copy this, and we will see what this multi-level indexing means. So index is order ID only. I want to give multiple index here, so I'll create one list, and in this list I'll put more than one columns as index. So with order ID, let me put customer also, and let's see how the output is. Every other thing is same, I'm just putting customer. Now if you see how the output is, so first order ID, so first indexing happen with order ID and then with customer. So for order ID, since we have 3 unique values in order ID, and for each unique value of order ID, we again categorized with the values of customer. So for order ID A, we have customer 1 and customer 3. These two values were present for order ID A. For order ID B, we again same, we have customer 1 and customer 3, and for order ID C, we have customer 1, customer 2, customer 3 also. And since columns is equal to product, so they are product 1, product 2, product 3, because 3 unique values were present in original data set for the column product. And then other thing, these values are coming from column A. So wherever there will be none value, means wherever there is no such combination where order ID is A, customer is customer 1, and then product is product 2, I am getting 0. And all other things, these are the values that are coming from column A with after applying the function, aggregate function, which is max. I can change it to min also, and it will give me the minimum value. So now it is going to give me the minimum value. So in that way we can specify different aggregate functions to find what we want to find using pivot table. So that is all about pivot table. You can look at this in Pandas documentation. to learn more about it, and this is a very useful technique to use to summarize your data and find useful insights about the data. So that's it about this tutorial. Thank you.